of Revelation 14, verse 6 to 11, closes up with these wonderful words, and that's the verse 12. Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus. We would like to enter a little deeper into those wonderful points presented here. This virtue, this exceptional mark of that group of people of the last days which had overcome the beast, the image, which has overcome the last crisis, in which we are already, beloved, engaged. When I hear you have all problems, not directly with papacy, but with those which are upholding the Sunday or which are not in harmony with present truth. And these will increase, beloved. And therefore, it says, here is the patience of the saints. Now, it could have been said differently. It could have been said, here is the patience. Here are they who keep the commandments and have the faith. But it doesn't say so. It says, here is the patience of whom? Of the saints, of the Holy One. The patience, word patience here means more endurance, steadfastness of a special group, the Holy One. You can have endurance, you can have steadfastness, beloved, in many things. When I think the man which walked from South Chile right up to the North Pole, all by faith, you see, he had endurance. He had steadfastness. He wore out his shoes and he went to all kinds of difficulty. But that is not the endurance of the saints, beloved. Here is the endurance of the saints. Especially, beloved, it is mentioned those which feel already the boycott of the beast. To be set aside. You can no more buy and no more sell. This is all prepared. This is all worked out, beloved. This is all coming. You see. And also the church in these ways is here and there compromising into it. Here is the endurance, beloved. Here is those which stayed fast, the Holy One. The saints is the same as the Holy One. Isn't that wonderful? And the Lord has said, be ye holy, for I am holy. You see, there is only a class of people which are called the saints or the Holy One, which can endure and stay fast in that final crisis. You all know about what it is, that crisis. I don't need to bring prophetical charts and bring all these points up there. But you see all in the world. I received a letter last week from someone in Switzerland telling me that the third greatest religion in Switzerland is Islam. When I left Switzerland, it was Protestant. Now it's Catholic, Protestant, and the Islam. In Switzerland, think, what is that? How is it then in other country? In the Slavian country. So far has this paganism choke out Christianity. You see. And beloved, this is appealed unto us. But it says also, a little further, it says that here are they that keep the commandments of God. Why is that mentioned like that, the commandments of God? Why is that specified, beloved, for in these last days, for that group of people? Commandments of God. The last battle will be between what? Commandments of man and commandments of God. That will be the final battle. But to come to that Sunday, man has to introduce many, many little side commandments to blind the people that they don't see the final great satanic day of worship. You see, commandments of God, we cannot err. Christianity has reduced the commandments of God into how many commandments? All Christianity, if you present to a Protestant pastor the Sabbath, for instance, he would say, oh, there are only what? 2 commandments. Love God and thy neighbor as thyself. Then it's all that. And so they can squeeze out the Sabbath, you see. But if it says the commandment of God, it means what? The very 10 which he has written with his own finger on 2 tables of stone. It cannot be different. Those are his commandments with his own finger written in table of stone. And there is a Sabbath in it. There is no doubt on that. The commandment of God. Yes. You see. And the Jew, they could say, oh, the commandment of God includes all our ceremonies and all our services which we all have. It's all a part of the commandment of God. But as we have it here, beloved, we know this is directly pointing to the 2 tables of stone, to the 10 commandments written by the finger of God. There is so clear, beloved. Here are they who keep these commandments, beloved. Under any circumstances, problem or difficulties. I know the Sabbath will be the greatest problem, the greatest difficulty. It has been. I remember in Switzerland, when the parents did send their children to school on Sabbath morning. Then they took the father, he had 1 day's jail. Next Sabbath he had 2 days jail. Or they doubled the penalty. And it was so that they had to move out from the country. I remember these, beloved, because they did send their children to school on Sabbath. You see, Protestant country, as it was in those days. And they wanted to keep the commandments of God. And so, beloved, this will come much more serious as it has been. These were only little, how shall I say, sting from a wasp to compare what is to come. And that is the point on which I would like to dwell the longest this morning, is on the 3rd part, beloved, where it says, and the faith of Jesus. What do you think, beloved, is the faith of Jesus? What do you think? If I say the faith of Abraham, you all will know what it is. You all will tell me that is when he had the great test and he had brought his son up on Mount Moriah to be sacrificed. There is the faith of Abraham. If I ask you the faith of Noah, you will all say, oh yes, the faith of Noah is that he builded an ark. He believed in a flood, while nobody believed. And so I can go on along the line. But what is the faith of Jesus? What will you say to me?
The spirit of prophecy.
Pardon?
The spirit of prophecy.
Spirit of prophecy? It is a part, yes.
Jesus was crucified and his father rejected him also, and he still went through.
There is a part in it. There is a part in it. The faith of Jesus. We will go a little more into that. You see, the beast with all the world will be so strong that we have to have an understanding of that faith of Jesus. It is connected with endurance, with steadfastness, beloved. As Jesus on the cross, Gethsemane. And not only that, all his life through. And not only that, beloved, since the plan of salvation has been laid before the foundation of this world, there was already the faith of Jesus. You see, there was already the faith of Jesus. We would like to read in Hebrews chapter 2, verse 14 and 17. 14 to 17, excuse me. Hebrews chapter 2, verse 14 to 17. There it is a little bit indicated. Paul presents a little bit the faith of Jesus. You know, in Hebrews chapter 1, Jesus is presented as the great one, the Son of God, as the heir. But in the chapter 2, it is presented as something else. And we read there from the verse 14 down to 17. For as much then as the children are partakers of the flesh and blood, he also himself likewise took part of the same, that through death he might destroy him that had the power of death, that is the devil, and deliver them from who through fear of death were all their lifetime subject to bondage. For verily he took not on him the nature of angels, but he took on him the seed of Abraham. Do you realize what that means? The Son of God, the sinless one, the one which all the angelic host obeyed, the ones which lead and guided everything, become the seed of Abraham, subject to all this temptation of the world, to the feebleness of man. What a faith had to be there. And I read verse 17. Wherefore in all things behold him to be made like unto his brethren, that he might be a merciful and faithful high priest in things pertaining to God, to make reconciliation for the sins of the people. A faithful high priest. He had to go to this. Beloved, when I think that Jesus created this world, he made all the lofty trees, all the fruit trees, he made all the animals, he's made everything so beautiful for man. And when he came on this earth, what did he say? Let us turn to Matthew chapter 8, verse 19 and 20. What he said. What that means to become of the seed of Abraham. Matthew chapter 8, verse 19 and 20. And a certain scribe came and said unto him, Master, I will follow thee whithersoever thou goest. Now here speaks now the Creator of all this world, of all the glory. And Jesus said unto him, the fox have holes, the birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man has what? In the world he has created, beloved, not even a corner where he can lay his head. Jacob had a stone on which he could lay his head. You know, the stone which was the hope, which was the gate of heaven. Can you see? Can you see? He had nothing where to lay his head, beloved. That is the faith of Jesus. This tremendous humiliation. He emptied himself entirely, beloved, to give it to us. He made himself poor that you become what? Rich. This is the faith of Jesus, beloved. And this is the faith which we shall reveal at the end, beloved. Who can resist that faith? Who can resist that faith, beloved? If we empty ourselves, Satan is lost. He has lost his battle. And we are the people, beloved, which have to prove before the whole universe that God is right.
Amen.
We are the people. And therefore we need the faith of Jesus. That triumphant faith, beloved, it is so contrary, it is so different to any worldly planning. If you want to advance in the world, you have to have all money, or to be very intelligent, or have lots of friends which push you through. A good politician. Isn't that so? But look, nothing of that kind which Jesus had. Jesus emptied himself, beloved. He came in this world. When I think, beloved, he built up this world all. There was nothing. And then finally, when he come, he said, the fox have hole, even a bird have nests. It's all provided. But the Son of Man, which at the same time is the Son of God, has nothing to lay his head. Beloved, he came into a family which were not too rich, it's true. He was grown up in a town which was very rejected, which had not a good name. He grew up like that, there. And from that time on, he entered into the ministry. He had nothing else than opposition, beloved. But all that for you and for me. Therefore, those words of that hymn which we sung, the hymn 123, it says so nicely, those are important words. There was one who was willing to die in my stead, that a soul so unworthy might live. The faith of Jesus, beloved, starts by realizing that we are unworthy. If the young people and old people and we all understand the faith of Jesus, it will be no hard, beloved, to give up the jacket. It will be no hard anymore. It will be no hard to change all our plan, our views, our undertaking, or even our career, if it needs. You see, that is, may the Lord help that we understand what it means, the faith of Jesus. Let us turn to Isaiah chapter 53. How the prophet describes it there. And we read the verse 5. But he was wounded for our transgression. He, that's the faith of Jesus. He was wounded for our transgression. He was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him. And with his stripes we are healed. Have you seen that? Something like that in nature? That if we beat up the father, the child is healed? But this has happened with Christ, beloved. We are healed with his stripes. Beloved, more than that, we are saved through his death. We just read in Hebrew, he took away what? The power of the devil. Let us turn back to Hebrew chapter 2 and let us see there. And that was the only way, beloved. And that was his faith, a tremendous faith. It says so nicely there in the verse 14, "For as much then as the children are partaker of flesh and blood, he also himself likewise took part of the same, that through death he might destroy him that had the power of death, that is the devil." Through death he destroyed the devil. That is again a paradox. You have to die. When you are dead, what can you do? But he, through death, he destroyed the power of the devil. What a faith. You see, these are the things which are sometimes for us very difficult to comprehend. But the point which I will bring up, and if we can understand and grasp, and if that only may enter into my mind so deep, beloved, is that I have to have that faith. Here is the faith of what? Of the saints. And we will be placed, beloved, all to make the final decision. To leave house and land and everything and go maybe in the mountain or maybe in the jails or whatever where it will be, to save our life. Everything. And we shall be with singing and with thanksgiving, beloved, that we have been chosen to be that people. Because here is the patience of whom? Of the Holy One, of the saints. Here are they who keep the commandment of God and have that faith of Jesus. Was not so for the apostle, beloved? I remember Peter said once to Jesus in Matthew chapter 19, "We have left everything. What is now unto us?" You know, so humanly speaking. Let us read that. It's in Matthew chapter 19 that Peter bring up this thought. And it was much more to live. Oh dear, Peter had not yet left his temper, and Peter had not left his he was always the mouthpick for the whole church, you see. And he thought already there in Matthew chapter 19 he had left everything. I will find the verse.
27.
Pardon?
27.
27? Yes, we can read already from the verse 26. Peter said unto him, of the stranger, Jesus said unto him, then are the children free. Notwithstanding, no? Yeah. Oh, I read in chapter 17, excuse me. That's why I thought it could not be. Yeah, now I see, yeah. Chapter 19, 27. Then answered Peter and said unto him, behold, we have forsaken all, and followed thee. What shall we have therefore? And Jesus said unto them, verily I say unto you, that ye which have followed me, in the regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory, ye also shall sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. What a wonderful promise he had given them. But they had not yet forsaken all. That is just the beginning. That is just what we have done when we become Seventh-day Adventist Reformer. We have given up this, we have given up there, we have given up many things which we learned that it was not pleasing God, you see. Many things. In health reform, in fashion, in many, many other things we have given up. But we have to give up more. But this is the beginning of that wonderful promise, beloved, that we shall have life eternal. But here the group in Revelation chapter 14 verse 12 is a special group. A special group. Jesus has given his life so that we may live. But who resurrected Christ? The Father. The Father called him. Is it a wonderful thing? What is it about those who died in the threefold angelic message, which have really understood and observed the Sabbath? Who resurrected them? The Father. Here is a special group, beloved, these last of which is spoken in Revelation 14 verse 12. It is the group by which all universe and every created world will see the real government of God being the right one, and that the laws of God are right. This is that group. And we are now in the school, beloved, to be of that group. Is it not great? Is it not a privilege? We might come from the city of Nazareth. We might come from a poor family. That has nothing to say. We might come from a very, very unpleasant background. But what we have now, beloved, to reveal in the very near future is what? The faith of Jesus. And that is what counts. That is what will count. That is what will be accepted by our Heavenly Father. That is. And you see, beloved, that faith of Jesus revealed the character of the Father. That's why it is so. There has been one which wanted to have a high position, a very high position. You know the story in Isaiah chapter 14. Satan said, I want to sit where? On the place of the Most High. Sure. Now to overcome him, he had to lower himself. So low that he couldn't go any deeper, beloved. He couldn't go any deeper. Man, or the descendant of man which he had created himself, have nailed him onto the cross. Can such a thing be possible? Came to such a situation. He had to lower himself so low to be able to have the victory for us and to show before the whole universe the real character of Satan and the character of God. Let me read quickly a little passage in Desire of Ages. Page 19. Oh, I am going too far. I think I should cut off here, but let me read now that. Page 19. The light of the knowledge of the glory of God is seen in the face of Jesus Christ. From the days of eternities, the Lord Jesus Christ was one with the Father. He was the image of God, the image of His greatness, the majesty, the outstanding of His glory. It was to manifest this glory that He came to our world, to this sin-darkened earth. He came to reveal the light of God's love. And there is only a few, beloved, in this world. And as closer we come to the end, less and less, which will penetrate and understand and grasp God's love. Have the faith, beloved, to this. I think I will close with this wonderful thought. beloved, that he came to reveal. Let us study, let us learn, let us meditate, let us pray, beloved, to understand this, that we can reveal at the hour it is required that faith of Jesus. You know, faith is something which is built up. It's not something which comes right away in the last minute when you need it. It is something which is built up. Now, I told you, we are in the school to be built up. I don't know how many more time the Lord will give us to educate and to develop that faith, that we are ready to empty ourselves for Him. And it will be required. And there will be a people. John has seen them. Amen. We shall close with the hymn number 529. I will sing of Jesus' love.